So I'd like to take a look at some of the opportunities that exist out there for all of us. Developing new approaches, broadening your influence both domestically as well as internationally, and bottom line is winning in the marketplace. I'll give you a specific example from Procter Gamble. Many of you probably used a Procter Gamble product this morning. P&G is recognized worldwide as a leader in personal care products. But there was a time when they weren't quite as connected to the international marketplace. And they realized that in Europe and in Asia, they had to be more connected to the clientele. So they opened up research and development offices, labs in these countries to get closer to the consumer. One of the things that they realized in Japan was that the housewives did not like using the liquid detergent or the liquid fabric softener because you'd pour it into the measuring cup, and I know that some of you have used these before. You pour it into the measuring cup and you dump it into the washing machine, and then you'd screw the cap back on the lid on the packaging, and this stuff would glop all over the sides, and they didn't like that. So the R&D team in Japan came up with the self-draining cap. You put that back on, it drains back into the bottle. That helped in Japan, it helped in Europe, it helped in the US. That's the basic cap that's in all kinds of liquid detergents anymore. Another example was in Europe. Many of the consumers in Europe said, P&G, you're not in touch with us. All of your detergents activate in hot water, but our energy costs are extremely high. So can't you come up with a detergent that is activated in tepid, warm, and cold water? By listening to and trusting their international partners in the R&D offices in Europe, P&G was able to develop all-temperature cheer, which was marketed overseas as a way to save money and save on costs. It was marketed in this country as a way to save the colors on your clothing because cold water wouldn't bleach out the color of your clothing as rapidly as warm or hot water. In order to do these things, we must be willing to walk in the shoes of our clients or of the people we work with. And sometimes walking in the shoes of those people, looking at our business from the other side of the counter, can be a sobering experience. We certainly can see areas of success, and we can also see areas of absolute failure. It's up to us, it's up to you as partners within the firm to look at those deltas and figure out how you're going to fill in the gaps. And one of the key ways to fill in the gaps is to be willing to do something that's called style switching. It doesn't mean that you give up your morals, it doesn't mean that you give up your values, but it might mean that you change the way that you run a meeting. It might mean that you change the way that you conduct a performance review with someone on your team. It might mean that you change the way that you interact with your clients, whether it be the time of day or how often. So by style switching, you unlock the opportunities to create those seamless connections with your clientele.